Good morning, afternoon, or evening over here at Ladies and Gents. I am Kurojiri, your resident Tinkerer and Medarotter, and this is the Medarot News Network, bringing you all the latest developments and happenings with our favorite pet fighting robot series. Well, it looks like with the Zoids collab now finally behind us starting this week, it looks like we're finally going to get a chance to take a breather and relax just a little bit. Now, we do kind of have a break period between the end of this collaboration and, of course, the start of November, which, of course, will be really amping up, I'm anticipating, for Medarot Day at the end of November next month on 11/27 to 28. So, that being said, I am fully expecting this is probably going to be the only slow week we have for a number of weeks for a while, but that is to be expected. However, despite this, we still do have a pretty nice introduction of a new boss-type bot and a long-awaited Medarot 2 returnee that has been kind of stuck in the enemy NPC jail for a number of months now, ever since his release officially in the game as an enemy target. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into this week's episode, highlighting, of course, the new models coming this week and anyone that is following behind. Starting that lineup, of course, we have the new boss-type bot that was introduced in recent story mode, and that is YMT0 Yatsukubi Daija, with a kit of Hyper Tornado, Mud Shot, Hyper Thunder Shot, Multi-Legs, and the leg ability of Blowbeat. Now, for the longest time, Yatsukubi Daija kind of had us scratching our heads for a minute because that was our first introduction officially to Mudshot, and it kind of left us wondering what exactly it did aside from maybe just canceling out terrain compatibility. But with an official explanation as to what it does, it is now much more deadly than what we originally gave it credit for. Not only does it change the leg type, and I'm going to say that again, it changes the target's leg type, not terrain matching, leg type, to sea-based. It also debuffs their mobility and evade by 20%. So it not only makes them notably slower, but it also basically turns them into mermen, to the point where if their metal is not compatible with aquatic legs already, they're done. They are just absolutely done. There is no saving that unless you can find a way to very quickly remove that negative ailment. And with that comment, I like to believe that this is going to be the start and twilight leading into the discovery of Anti-C now becoming competitively meta, much like Tornado and Anti-Air is currently. In addition to Yatsukubi Daija, we are also getting the reintroduction, as you see here, of KNG0 Abyss Grader, the King Squid type, with a kit of Missile, Double Sacrifice, Sea Legs, and the leg ability of Aim. Now, not quite nearly as impressive as Yatsukubi Daija, of course, but is still a very well-beloved model that pretty much anyone that knows of the Medarot series, English or Japanese, has come to know and love, especially those that have played Medarot 2 Core, and the absolute nightmare and PTSD that he induces just by showing his ugly mug on the field and just what he can bring to the table. Now, of course, in later games he was much easier to tolerate, but in those earlier games, what's done has been done, and he still scares foes to this day just for showing up on the field. In addition to these two models, we are also getting reruns of very popular Medarot 1 vehicle types as well. Of course, kind of going with the aquatic theme that we have thus far, we are seeing a rerun of MRN0 Blue Submarine with a kit of Conceal, Double Anti-C, Sea Legs, and the Primacy leg ability, who also is capable of transforming into a true submarine type form, as you see here, with a kit of Sword, Fight Boost, Mobile Boost, and Primacy while maintaining the Sea leg ability. In addition to him, we are also getting a rerun of PLN0 Lady Jet with a kit of Break Hammer, of Fight Boost, Double Anti-Air, Flight Legs, and also with Primacy. And, much like her brothers, Blue Submarine and Land Motor as the trio of this group, Lady Jet is also capable of transforming and changing her kit out for Break Hammer, Radar Sight, Mobile Boost, maintaining Flight-based legging, and Primacy leg ability. Now, between these two models and the two new ones, there really isn't a whole lot to mention. Lady Jet and Blue Submarine both have very solid uses in their respective niches. Lady Jet, unfortunately has had much more use thanks to Tornado and Hyper Tornado being a thing for a pretty good chunk of time now. But with the introduction of Mud Shot to the game with Yatsukubi Daija, I do like to believe that Blue Submarine will finally be having a chance in the spotlight, and we are more than likely going to be seeing a lot of bots starting to carry Anti-C more often. Whether that means Blue Submarine himself, or even other models such as, say, Steel Stork, or Meta Change Form Sonic Stag, or Luminous Stag, or Dorcas, or so on and so forth. I like to believe this is going to be the start of a new era where Anti-C will be made competitively meta, just as I said. Now with the Fierce Battles this week, we are still maintaining that whole aquatic theme that we have been going on with the Terror in the Water theme that we have going on here for this week. And starting that lineup, we have the Sapphire Type SPR0 Blue Corundum with a kit of Optic Guard, Press, Beam, Sea Legs, and the leg ability of Brilliance. Behind her, we have RIN0 Rhino Rush, the rather odd choice this time around to match with the other two, with a kit of Guard 500, Double Missile, Tank Legs, and the leg ability of Super Armor. Then last but not least, CLA-01 Katahachi Mach 2, with a kit of Triple Hold, Multi-Legs, and the leg ability of Mariner. Now, Rhino Rush is kind of the odd one out here, like I said, in comparison to Katahachi 2 and Blue Corundum here, which are more predominantly aquatic themed. But they are still very handy skills to have all the same. Katahachi, if you want to guarantee that all attacks are going to land pretty much no matter what, Rhino Rush with Tank Legs and Super Armor is nice to have, especially with that passive damage reduction Tank Legs gets, and Blue Corundum for the very wide array of kits of skills that she brings to the table, as well as Sea Legs with an auto-healing leg ability on Charging Metaphors. Now, if I had to give MVP of the week to somebody, it was honestly kind of hard because compared to most other Fierce Battles we've seen and have, these three are kind of subpar. Not to say that they're terrible, but there are most certainly better options to be made use of all the same. But with that being said, I still would have to give an MVP of the week to Blue Corundum in this case, given that her very wide and very diverse array of skills does make her just a little bit more helpful on the field, and auto-healing legs with the Brilliance leg ability for females is also very handy to have, because it does allow you to restore just a little bit of HP to all parts across the board when you need to charge Metaphors for kind of a 2-for-1 deal while you're still prepping that stall turn. Katahachi 2 and Rhino Rush again do have viability as well to be made use of, but their use is rather selective, like I mentioned, compared to Blue Corundum, who can be also made much more diversely so. Now, with the wake of the 8-headed dragon that was officially revealed this week, I do officially have to announce as well we are getting a daily dungeon and a daily missions also to celebrate the official release and debut of the model as an official gacha model that can be picked up and added to the game. Now, these are usually pretty easy to accomplish. The daily dungeon, you go in, you beat it, you walk out with some ruby shards, end of story. With the daily missions, on the other hand, it's basically just an extension of the daily missions we have whenever we log in and do our dailies anyway. These can be anything from do a super invasion, farm for a certain fierce battle, change a color of a part, change your battle BGM, battle with a certain number of parts, and so on and so forth. But we can earn more rewards from that, such as additional ruby shards and gacha tickets on top of that. So definitely make sure that you don't miss out on those bonuses if you are going to be participating in this rather slow week that we have compared to what we've had thanks to the Zoids collaboration. And ever so brief reminder on the Zoids collaboration before I do forget, the models will be sticking around for one last week. So that means on November 2nd, next week, they will be officially going away. So if you don't quite find either of these models impressive to you, and you want to kind of make one last-ditch effort toward collecting any of those models, this is your last chance. So make sure that you do have the rubies on hand for it, and best of luck to your gacha pulls if you do want to try to come out with something outside of Shield Liger, who we did get for free in the event collaboration. Now, in terms of other event stuff that has been going on this week, like I said, relatively low-key, but it is worth noting that thanks to the introduction of Abyss Greater and Yatsukubi Daija, we are getting super invasions hailing and specializing in both of them. So again, nothing special compared to most other Super Invasions we've had thus far. 3 rounds, each round will have specific modifiers with very difficult opponents. Come out on top and you walk out with 10 rubies, 10 cyclasm, and a nameplate you can add to your profile banner as proof of victory that you have accomplished thanks to both of these Super Invasions. Now, one other thing that was announced for the game this week is not necessarily today, but in 4 days from now at time of recording will be Shushu Pop's birthday. Now, of course, with that, we will be getting a special paid bundle bonus, as you see here, with a BGM title, a voice track, and some extra rubies. I'm not 100% sure how much this will go for, and it is also worth noting that we are also getting a 1-day login bonus to celebrate Shushu Pop's birthday on 10/28 as well. Miss Shushu Pop, if you do somehow find yourself on my tiny little channel of the internet, I do want to wish you a very happy early or day of birthday, depending on when you see this, or belated, whichever comes first. I do want to wish you a very special day, as 10/28 was the day that you did officially start streaming on the official Medarot channel and made your debut. We all love hearing your radio segments and love tuning in with watching you play Medarot or any other game with the other girls. Being completely honest here, I'm going to try not to be biased. You are kind of my favorite of the 3, given the steampunk vibe that you have going on here. But I do hope that you have a wonderful birthday as well. Again, if you do find my corner of the internet with this message, and hope you have a wonderful day. On the community front, we are still always looking for translators to assist us with any translation endeavors we have. Right now, the big effort is to push for that final nudge towards Medarot 3. We are so very close to having a fully EN translation of Medarot 3 ready to go as a patch. Now, the current build is kind of playable, but is still kind of jumbled. But if you are knowledgeable in coding or cleaning or Japanese and have some time on your hands, we would love to have that final effort done so we can finally put it all together, clean it up and bundle it, and finally mark that fan translation as complete. So we can add it to our current titles of Medarot 1 and Medarot R as currently translated games that have patches in English. Afterwards, we would love to work on other titles such as Medarot 4, which is still in very early stages, and other games such as Medarots 5 and Navi, or even later titles like Medarot DS, or 7, 8, or 9, and so on, because those titles are much more mainstream, I guess, for lack of a better term, and the Medarot 9 community is still very much so popular and ongoing, especially since Nintendo did just recently announce a while ago that they will be shutting down service for them starting the new year. But again, if you would like to lend a hand with those translations, definitely reach out to me or join our Discord in the link provided below, and we can definitely get you in touch with the right people to fill you in on what has been done and what still needs done up to this point. Now, on the topic of communities as well, it is still worth noting that the official Orimeta contest on Twitter is still ongoing for another week or so, a little over a week at this point, and will be officially at closing on 11/7. So if you do have any entries that you would like to submit for that, do make sure you get those in sooner than later and use the hashtags as you see listed here, Orimeta and Medaroto as well, just to make sure that you mark your submission. Just make sure you look over the rules officially just to make sure that you got everything, but some of the big rules they focus on is that it does need to be about 2000 by 2000 pixel resolution, and you do also need to have heart names for your particular design to showcase what you made. Now, if you can't submit anything for the official contest in time, just a friendly reminder that we still do have our contest in the official Project Rising Beetle Discord as well, that it will be ongoing just a little bit longer than the official one. Official end date and deadline for this one is 11/21, so 2 weeks beyond the official deadline of the official contest. Not as many rules here as you see, but still, do make sure that you read them over if you want to submit something. It has been relatively quiet through the month of October, and I'm kind of bummed about that, but I'm really hoping that starting November, we will start seeing some activity in there, and start seeing a lot of entries, because I really want you guys to make it difficult on me, to the point that I have to take an entire second video just to look over all the entries before I deliberate them all, and then on 11/28, officially announce the 3 winners and runners-up. But if we don't get any entries, I don't have anything I can officially announce or as a winner or runners-up. So, help me out with that. This is your time to shine. If you have trouble coming up with the design, we do have an official random generator that is pinned in that channel as well, that'll spit out a motif and a kit for you, and kind of help you jumpstart your creative juices with an idea of what you can make. And if you do have any other questions on that or suggestions, definitely reach out and we can fill you in and get you some suggestions on things you can build, just so that you can have something to submit and have fun doing it. Now, with the official Ori Meta contest, we've been getting a lot of fantastically wonderful and very unique designs as well. Starting, of course, with this Hydrant Highlander design here, as you see by Twitter user Hikiko Moriguma. Just a friendly reminder, this is also the same designer that I believe was also the artist for Antura, the Celtic Druid Priest type that was made a Spotlight model currently already available in Medarot S. So I really like the design you came here. Lots of pipe works, which is very much so down my alley, so I'm already kind of biased toward this one already. But I really like the creativity that you put there, marking that Highlander and Hydrant both kind of have the same feel, same pronunciation and wordage. So I really like that you mix those themes together for very creative design. And this one here by Twitter user Udetayatu, who did a Venus flytrap type of design. And I really like the creativity here. Not necessarily going for a bitey bite design like an official model is currently, I believe, from Medarot 3, if I recall correctly, but instead went for a more creative long-range approach, as you see here, making the flytrap arms actually designed as guns, and one on the head, of course, as a sunbonnet, with a very cute design with the flower pots as the feet as well. Very creative designs on both parts, and I definitely recommend giving both of these Definitely recommend giving both of these artists a follow as well. If you'd like to see more of their wonderful art in your feeds, you most certainly will not be disappointed, and I'm going to try to do my best to highlight more of the really big ones that I like or that get a lot of attention through the duration of the official contest, so that I can showcase more art and more artists in the community. But with all that being said, I do believe that covers everything for this week's episode, so it is a relatively short week compared to what we have seen in previous weeks, but that is fully expected because this is going to be kind of our respite week before things start amping up for Medarot Day through November, all the way on up to November 27th and 28th. But with all that being said, if you'd like to know more, you can follow us below on Facebook at the Medarot News Network page and the Metabots Forever community on there as well. You can also join us on Discord, which is now officially open publicly in community mode and officially discoverable on Discord. So if you'd like to know more, you can follow us below there as well. And that is where you'll keep an even closer ear to the ground on the action. This includes any new updates on merchandise, fan art, contests, my weekly episodes, or a lot of our in-depth guides and translations to Medarot S as a whole. That is the first place you're going to hear them before they go anywhere else. You can also reach out to me personally on Twitter at Isagamikura, so if you have any questions or feedback or comments, or would love just to stop in and say hello, I leave my DMs open for that very reason. And if you are a streamer, VTuber, or YouTuber and would love to collaborate sometime, that can be included, but not included to having you on my channel as a guest host, or me stopping in on yours for friendly chats, friendly interview, or even just a game for fun. I would absolutely love to coordinate with you guys. So definitely reach out to me in those DMs and I'll get to you when I can. And if you want to collaborate, we can most certainly make something happen and coordinate some schedules going forward so we can find something that works. Lastly, do give these wonderful friends of mine a follow in the community as well. My dear friend Sadant Boiro, who stayed very much so up to date with getting clips and gameplay footage from a lot of the older games. These can include meta change transformation animations from the earlier games like 8 and 9, a lot of earlier gameplay clips from like Navi and 3 and 4, and has done, or even Medarot R, and he's done a wonderful job keeping up to date with that in the community. So wonderful work to that, and definitely give him a follow as well if you want to keep in the know on that front. Of course, this Twitter user here by Twitter user Taiyo at Taiyo1 has been making really big rumbles in the community with the design of a kind of remote-controlled scale figure of Beastmaster that can actually respond to prompts on a programmable metal watch. So wonderful work there. I'm a big fan of yours, and I'd love to see more work of that in the future if you have not already started working on another project. But with all that being said, as always, I do appreciate you all for stopping by, just as you always do. And until next time, this is your host, Kura Isagami of the Medarot News Network, signing out.